Hello and welcome to AMZ TV. Thank you for joining me again. As usual, I have another wonderful guest with me. And if you're listening to me, this will be my podcast and it's AMZ Live. Yes, I have a lady here who, if it comes to beauty, she's got it. If it comes to acting chops, she's got it. And there is one iconic role I do remember her with. And this was even way before Nollywood as we know it today, but people still talk about it. And that's Silent Night. She just blew us away in that her iconic role. I'm talking about Victoria Iyama. How are you? You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh my God, I'm
Mm.
excited. It's been so long. You and I haven't spoken in years, but you look good. You
Mm.
look good, girl.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
those specs. I love those specs. I love it. Very classy.
Thank you. That's the Monday seriousness. We can't see without this help. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So
Mm.
how is the lockdown over there in the UK? How much has it affected you guys? Because you guys, it was like you were in at least before US. I think it hit you guys
Yeah,
first.
oh yes.
So
Oh
how
yes.
has it
Oh
been
yes.
coping with the lockdown?
Um, I am so grateful to God. For me, it's been. Would I be selfish if I say great? Well, I and my daughter fall under the vulnerable category because years ago I had cancer and I had cancer treatment, which obviously affected my immune system.
Oh wow.
So I had to go into shielding from day one, and I got so much help. Like the government in my borough, if you needed shopping, they would do some shopping for you. They would send you vouchers. They didn't want me to go out, you know. They just
Yeah.
wanted me to stay at home and take care of myself.
Right.
And yeah, so for me, it was okay. And the kind of job I do, we have just realized that I really don't need to go in there because I work with a charity, and what I do is talk with people that have low capacity mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
like mild depression and people that just want to talk and all that. So
Right.
I go over there and they come to the office, yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
talk. But now when this whole thing started, we just do Zoom or phone call,
Right.
so I could just call you and talk with you. And the ones that were okay with the Zoom, we'll just have a Zoom, 1 hour and thereabout. But I think with company, you can actually do 2 hours for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they waived
Yeah,
that companies, yes, and
for
schools.
companies, yeah. So
Yeah.
mine was company. So we could just sit down there, maybe watch a movie together, talk about the movie. I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy
It
talking with
sounds
people and
interesting. It sounds nice.
mm,
It sounds laid back. That's good.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just that you have to work within the confines and ethics of working with people. So I'm not advising you on what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. It is only what you tell me that I bounce off you, and ask you, oh, if you say you're not feeling fine, oh, really, you're not feeling fine? How is that? So you know how to ask questions,
Right.
structured questions and all that. So
Right.
yeah, I would say, I may the souls of a lot of people that passed away rest in peace, because I know a lot of families lost people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know about 5 people that passed away, including one guy that where we buy African food from.
Yeah.
He has an African shop, and during that period when we're all shopping and storing up food, I remember going there buying cartons of noodles
Mm.
and food, meat and stuff. And
Mm.
all of a sudden, someone you saw like 3 days ago,
Mm.
and you're now hearing that the person died. So all of a sudden, I'm like, did I come close to him? Did
Right.
I, like, what happened? Because
My
he was
goodness.
wearing a mask. I wasn't. It wasn't strict.
Right. Right.
Then he was wearing a mask behind the counter, and I'm
Right.
thinking, okay. And thank God, I do phone bank transfer. So I finished buying what I'm buying. He told me how much. and I just went to my app and I transferred the money. So there wasn't really no exchange. And that was the closest for me. And I was like, the shock that someone that even told you, oh, okay, I don't have chicken noodles, but I'll have it next week. When I
Right.
have, I'll
Right.
call you. And
Right.
then you're hearing that the person died. Like,
Right. Mm.
how? So for me, that was a shock. And that was like, okay, so this thing is real, you know.
Mm. Mm.
And that would be, and then a nurse that I know that works in a GP surgery and stuff. And it wasn't a good time for a lot of
No.
people. But
People,
I
people, yeah,
was,
people lost
people,
lives, and it's
yeah,
painful. It's painful, and
it's
some
very
was so
painful.
sudden. Some was so sudden, like, you know. Um, Something you
Mm.
just shared with me now and my viewers and listeners was that, you're a survivor of the C word, cancer.
Mm.
I thank
The
God for
people.
the life. Yeah, that's the thing about it here, like the C word.
Mm-hmm.
But I celebrate with you, and I celebrate you, that,
Oh, thank you.
that you survived that. That's always, it's good to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly, though, I'm going to ask you, because I talked about Silent Night, which are your iconic
Mm-hmm.
roles, and how did you get started in movies?
Yeah, I just started with Ripples, That was way back.
Yeah, I was in
I,
Ripples too. Yeah, uh-huh.
I
There are a lot
yes,
of us.
you see, yes. Yeah, in Ripples with Zico Kafo. Zico Kafo was playing my boyfriend. I was Baba Soki's younger sister.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Uh, uh So yeah, you Nneka Oboli, yeah,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Baba Soki,
Yeah.
Richard,
Richard.
Auntie Lee,
Yeah. Right.
Kepi, yeah,
Epi. Cappy
Kepi,
Hassan. Yes. Uh-huh.
yes, Captain So
We all
yeah,
passed through
so
Ripples.
So that was how we started. That was more like our placement for acting,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then
Mm-hmm.
what did you know?
Right.
All we knew was what the director told us and our own raw talents,
Yes.
right? And things. Yeah. So yes, I started with Ripples, and just as the movie industry started creeping up, although don't forget that time there was a Yoruba movie industry.
Yes,
I don't know
that's
why they
always been
don't give
there.
credit to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um what's that man that passed away that we all used to think he was a wizard or something? Oh my God,
Oh, good day.
children.
Oh, good day.
Ogunde, I still want to, I don't know, amazing. This is something that, can somebody just research on that man and tell us the truth about that man? Was he really a witch? Was he married to all those women on his stage?
It was just acting. It was acting.
Exactly, but now I'm thinking, but then, anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So when the movie industry started, I think my iconic again was Glamour Boys.
Yes, you were in Glamour Boys. That was wasn't that Amata?
Jetta,
What's his name?
yes,
Jetta.
Jetta Mata,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Jetta Mata.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Glamour Boys, yes. And then obviously there was Silent Night, and then there was Faces with Kate Henshaw and Jumai Joseph,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, and then there was this one called Odum. Odum is like a historical movie about a certain town, but I heard it's a true life story about a certain community in is it Okija also? Onkwere, one of them. Anyway, lovely, lovely. That one was iconic for me because we went to a land where they worship snakes
Oh.
and stuff and pythons.
Mm.
And first time in my life I saw a python, and we're driving, and this python was just walking, be crossing the road, and we couldn't pass
You had to
because
wait because they
we had to
worship it.
wait.
Oh my God.
And you don't want to know the sight. And for me, I'm thinking, what if this snake just looks at us and just, you know? But
Yeah.
no, nothing like that. And that still baffles me with religion, modernity, and
Mm.
those traditional stuff.
Right.
The python, it was so scary, even saying it now. It just, It just walked. It just whatever
Just slid it
across.
across. Yeah. Mm. There's
Not
certain things.
fast though. Not
No,
fast
it's taking
because
his time. It's taking his time
yes,
because he knows his place. He knows that you people are the subjects, and no, they take it seriously. I've heard of things like that before. It's crazy. It's crazy.
and they
People's
and they say, oh, that's their ancestors. They are
yes.
old. You
Mm-hmm.
expect them to run across. I'm like, they are
Mm-hmm.
old. Okay.
I
So
hear in those places they even come around the compound. They feel
yeah,
honored.
oh
They
yeah,
come
this one they
and
do.
they,
If you see our hotel, I couldn't stay in a room alone
oh
because
Jesus.
I said no, I'm not staying in a room. I think Dagogo Dominance was the makeup person and the set designer and makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, so all of us, me, him, his workmates, the man, all of us. I was saying a lie because I was more like the only female. The other females were, oh bless her soul, Ovularia. I think she's passed away now. I don't
Oh,
even know.
okay.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I just know her stage name. Never really know her. Yes, Ovularia and yeah, Rita Edochie, and they were like, what would I be looking for in there? So
Right, right.
yeah, and it was really really scary.
Mhm.
And every day we went on set, we had to go with a native doctor on set to communicate with the gods.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
That's quite an
because there were
experience.
times there are times we must not go into the river. So we are shooting in a river, a husband and wife river,
Hmm.
and this river one is dirty, dirty brown, and one is clean green and blue. So when it's green, it means something. When it's blue, it means something. Now, when I think about those days, I'm like, it's just amazing. And then that was Odun. And I have lots of. Then there's Love from Above with Uncle Peter Doche. I liked that one. And Auntie Shola Shobowale. I loved that one very much with Jim Ike. And yeah, then there was I've forgotten this title. Can you imagine? Where Ramsey was a priest and Ramsey was my brother, and I was just something else, and my brother is a priest. So people didn't understand how a family can have a triumph like me and a
Okay.
and a decent person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and my problem. I brought a problem to the house that killed my brother,
Mm.
who was a priest, and
Mm.
that that was iconic for me because it just shows how people people have to be very very careful with the associations they make outside,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And to be honest, how many families would sacrifice themselves for a stupid sibling, sibling
Right.
that is just stupid?
Like
you know,
gone wayward, huh? Right.
very very. I was a very very anyhow somebody.
It was your character. Your character called for that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's
Mm,
what I'm just hearing from you is aside from
mm.
you acting, you also had experiences on set. I mean that whole thing,
Oh,
the whole native doctor and going the river, to me that would have scared me to bits.
it did.
That would have
It
scared
did.
me. Were you not scared?
I was scared. I mean, say when we go into the forest, the native doctor had to go in first and wade off all the snakes and pythons and tell them that, oh, some people, some strangers who are friends were coming in to shoot. That what we are doing is play. So when they hear certain words coming from us, that please, it is play, that we are not serious. Like words like "I will kill you"
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
So what's the
You
name of
know,
this movie? So because people hearing this are gonna want to know.
Odum,
Odum.
Odum, it's
Okay.
called Odum, Odum.
ODUM. Okay.
Mm.
Wow. Interesting.
I
Yeah.
think my love interest was some baby there
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was really scary. I mean,
Well, that is scary. Just hearing you talk about it, I'm scared. I just oh
we
please.
actually lost an artist there on set because he didn't listen. He was being very funny. They told us that once it was a certain time, we should not have a bath in the river. You know, like
Are you kidding me right now?
no, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Seriously. You know, like all these paintings, chalk things that we put on
Yes,
our
yes,
body.
yes.
Yes, the native doctor said, look, go to your hotel room and wash. Don't wash here. You cannot wash in the male river, which is brown because it's dirty water anyway. But do not wash in the clean water because that's the river goddess water. People go there to pray, beg for children, and fetch drinking water. So don't go there to wash. But this guy, for some reason, I don't know, he was one of the warriors. And he was like, nothing, da, 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 da. And then he went in there to wash. And I don't know, by the time somebody called the attention of the native doctor, the guy was saying that somebody was pulling his legs down. So a couple of other artists, guys, you know, they ran in to try to pull him out. The native doctor just told them, you people should come out of there. You cannot pull him out because I warned you people against this thing. So the native doctor started enchanting, begging, throwing money, throwing kola nuts, throwing things in the water. And, you know, amazing. It's like you throw a bottle of Fanta in the water and it goes down. It doesn't float. Oh, you said there's content. Okay, but when you throw money into water, it goes down. The money was not floating on the sea or on the river. Everything he was throwing in was going down and still. So he said no, that they've collected everything, yeah, and they're going to take him. That he's not dead, they're just going to take him. So if his village people were strong enough, they should come and try and bail him. Moreover, the world there. And it taught me a lot of things that even when I think about it now and people talk about the water world, from that my experience, I believe that there's a water world. I believe that just like I believed in the realm of the spirits and us, the living and the dead, I believe there's a water world. So all these mommy water, papi water things, it's not folktale. For me, it's not folktale. And I've researched in even the West, they do believe in mermaids, you know, and it's not just a story. Most cultures, they do believe in mermaids. They do believe that in those seas, in those Bermuda triangles and stuff, there are entities there that are controlling those ones. Maybe they are aliens or whatever. But
That one is
I mean,
just
in America now, you know, in America now, you people are living with all sorts of, you know.
that is just for another day. That's a whole lot of
Yeah.
Pandora's box right there. I want to touch on something you've been talking about because I do listen to follow you on Instagram, and some of your talks have been very interesting, and I just want to hear you excuse me, share it with my viewers and my listeners. And this is on sexual assault, domestic, you know, sexual assault for me because I talked about it. And we probably have opposing views in some certain aspects, but again, I'm all about, I listen to people. There's a reason, there are things that informs, you know, what we talk about. So I know one of your talks I'd heard about, again, you correct me here. So are you saying that sexual assault and or rape has to do with, is the girl's fault? Is the woman's fault?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
that's not what I said.
because a lot of people saying that and they were like, oh, watch it. I'm like, I don't, I like to hear what people say.
Yes.
It has to do with, you know, the dressing, you know, what she's wearing. So just clarify, let me hear, you know, and
Okay, let me I've been clarifying that. And okay, I use an example for somebody one time. I said, let's say COVID, for instance, right? Now, whether you wear a mask, a face shield, you stay indoors, you do everything, as long as you work, or even if you don't work and you're just a home person, you know, I believe that a lot of us must have gotten it, but our immune system protected us.
Right.
Yes, and we didn't even notice and stuff. But one thing is, when you're going out or you're going to a public place, wear a mask. It's not 100% guarantee, but at least help yourself. You never can tell.
Okay.
So I watched, and that post actually was triggered by musical videos. I was watching a lot of musical videos and I was incensed. I was really, really upset. First of all, I'm thinking, why is the male musician fully dressed. And the female video girls are all
Barely
wearing
dressed.
bikinis.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why are we not? And then I noticed that most of these musicians that used to trash women in their younger days, now, someone like Jay-Z, he is now married, he has daughters. His videos are not about naked girls anymore. His videos are not about bitch and whatever. No. He's now talking about life and life issues, right? So now that's a wake-up call for him. I even saw the latest one that Two-Face and Wizkid did. And I was like, every girl in that musical video was well dressed. And trust me, I can watch that video 100 times because it's fantastic. And then I told Nigerian girls, I said, listen, in my video, I categorized it. I said, this video is not for minors, right? All those little children that get raped, no, they are raped by psychopaths. This video is not for vulnerable people. Under vulnerable people, you're talking of women that wear hijab, pregnant women, you know, maybe women that have a certain disability, could be Down syndrome, could be whatever. They are not reasoning properly, right?
Okay.
And then the third was the aged, because I do know that a lot of old people do get raped. I said, they are raped, but I said, anybody that can rape somebody is a psychopath. But I said, this video is specifically for the slay queens that feel you're in Nigeria and I can dress anywhere I want, right? I said, you're forgetting that your country does not protect you. You don't have female laws. You don't have any laws that protect the female. Every day on social media, I hear father raped daughter, he was arrested. Father raped this, he was arrested. Please, I have never heard, just like I hear, okay, a fraudster has gotten arrested and is sentenced to prison by EFCC. I have never heard, and I want to see, I'm even saying it on your program, that anybody that is listening or watching in Nigeria should send me and say, Victoria, Mr. A was caught raping somebody and he's been sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. Show me. I want to see. I'm not seeing. So you guys are living in a lawless country where you are not protected and you're telling me you can dress anyhow you want. You can be modest. It's not going to stop. Just like COVID, yeah, you can be in your house and get it. I can be in my house and God forbid, we're even in UK, yes, God forbid, there can still be a break-in, right? I'm in my house, so in the safety of my house, there can be a break-in and all the people want to do is to shag, right? And I could still get raped. Yes, but how am I protecting myself? I know fully well that in this country, those culprits, they will be caught somehow through DNA, because I'm going to go to the hospital. They're going to take sperm, whatever, even if they use the condom. They touched me. They're going to frisk my body and they're going to get fingerprints, except if that person's DNA is not in the system. If that person's DNA is in the system, they'll catch them. That's how it works. That easy.
Yes.
But you're living in a country where a politician went to a public body and all saw it. And the case was
Victoria, hold on. I need you to say that again because you froze. A politician went where?
A politician, a senator in Nigeria, went to a sex toy shop.
Oh, okay. And they slapped a girl, right?
And slapped a girl.
Yeah, right. There
was recorded evidence, not that it's hearsay.
Right.
We watched it. And that case got thrown out of court. As in, the judge looked at the evidence and said, there's nothing here. Is that not enough? Is that not enough? Oh, sorry. Did you go?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Is that not enough reason for you to know that you're living in a country that does not protect you?
Yeah.
And I gave another example. I said, look, strippers and prostitutes in the West, in America, in
They're
UK,
protected.
they are protected. Anybody that rapes them, you're going to prison. Oh.
Yes.
Not just prison. Your name, the person's name will be in the sex offenders register for life.
Registry, yeah.
For life. That means that, God forbid, a 15-year-old boy rapes somebody, and then 20 years later, he wants to run for election.
Come up, yeah.
He's not running, no.
Yeah.
Even in your American government, before Trump won, there were lots of men that their past of sleeping with girls and blah, blah, they brought it up. And those men just resigned. They just said, we are stepping down, we are not contesting anymore, right? So you are living in Nigeria where you're not protected and you're trying to live like the girl who lives in the West. It cannot happen.
Okay.
It can't happen. So I am not saying this for the typical, and Nigeria, you see my problem, maybe a lot of people do not know what minor is. I have to say minors are children. Because you will see people on the comment section say, oh, what about the baby that got raped? What about the 5-year-old girl? I'm thinking, did these people even go to school? I already said minors. I already said vulnerable. Some people will say, hey, what about this old person? Did I not say age? Do you know what aged is? A-G-E-D. Do you know what it is? It's old people. So people are not understanding. And they just, I made one mention because I'm in mental health. I said, look, the average person in Nigeria has mental health issues. You don't know. You don't know. That is the only way, they derive joy in forcing you, in abusing you, in oppressing you. Something is wrong with them. Now, Nigeria is the only country where, or Africa, let me put it that way. And this is another thing I realized living abroad. In Africa, you go on a date with a man and then you follow him back home. That's not how it's supposed to be. No. When you go on a date with a man, you meet up in wherever, Tasty Chicken, for instance. You finish eating in Tasty Chicken, having a chat. You go home. You get to the train station, you kiss goodbye. I will see you again. I'll call you. That's how it's supposed to be for your first, second, third dates. When you now know the person you're dealing with, after some, snooping around and getting some information about him, right? Because these days in the UK, when before you date, they even tell you in school, secondary schools, type the person's name on Google, do a search, and see what comes up. Go to arrested people, go to domestic violence people, go to rapists, the sex register, type the person's name and see. So you have all those things to equip yourself. Now, they're even fighting for domestic violence, right? To say there needs to be a register for men, and women who are convicted domestic violent people.
Yeah.
They're working, we have that already, but we don't have access. Any average person does not have access to it. Okay. So what we are petitioning the government for is only the police that has access to such information. But what we are petitioning the government is we want to have access to those, just like the sex register and the prison.
Yeah, I totally believe it. That's one way to stop that nonsense.
Exactly. We also want that one.
Yeah.
So that when a guy is toasting you, you go and type his name there and see if his name is under the domestic violence register as well, or a woman. Or if he's been to prison for domestic violence. So all these things are the things I'm telling my people in Nigeria. The video was certainly not for girls that live in the Western world, because you're protected. Try raping in America. Just try it. Before the APE gets there. In fact, when you're thinking about rape, you get arrested for thinking. Just putting it in your head that I'm planning to rape somebody.
Right.
You get arrested. And your psyche will get evaluated. This person, okay.
I am so glad, I'm glad you got this chance to address this, because again, you've put it in perspective now. I get it. And I'm sure people listening now get it. So because what you're saying is for people back in Nigeria, Africa, where the law
Yes.
doesn't protect you. So you've got to help yourself to be helped. Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I
Gotcha.
also
I
used the
get it.
this COVID thing. I said, imagine COVID being a rapist. It attacks babies, old people, vulnerable,
It doesn't care.
strong,
It doesn't
everything.
care. Yeah.
You don't even need to go out. You don't need to do any, but okay, but now they are telling you wear a mask. So I'm telling them, be modest, dress well. Obviously, when you work in mental health, I mean, there's a dressing culture when you work in mental health. I can't even wear this to work. Wearing it to work, I have to button it
Yeah,
up
I know.
like
I've
this.
worked with people that have mental challenges.
Eh?
That's what you're saying.
Yes, I want to, because I've been in a situation where well dressed, everything. You see somebody sitting down, maybe on the, on their cafe, maybe there's a session about to happen, or they're watching TV. You see somebody looking at you and wanking. You can't do anything to him now. He's in the hospital.
Yeah, it's protected.
You don't say, Jerry, what are you doing? Jerry, that's not nice. That's not a good thing to do. Could you stop it, please?
Yes.
You understand? But me, I will not go close. I will stay in Surulere and be talking to you in Ibadan. And then, worst case scenario, you call a male security to come and talk to him. You're not shouting at him. Imagine that kind of a person catching somebody.
It's all over.
The only thing they will do, they'll give you compensation, no? £10,000, £3,000, depending on how bad the whatever was. Yes. When you hear people in mental health, they earn so much, You think they go there to do, can you even stay a night in a patient's ward? Every night you'll be doing praise and worshiping. That's it. Until morning time. When so that's it. So protect yourself,
Get it now.
Look at the case of the girl with the certain top musician, right? Amazing. Have you noticed that every time they put that girl's picture on social media where she talks about how she was raped, they put a picture of her maybe wearing a bikini or wearing a shirt that's, her boobs are showing and everything.
Who's this girl?
The Shaito girl. This Shaito, I think, yes, that accused the Banj of rape, right? And I noticed that every time she her case is being mentioned, she's not well dressed. That's just my observation. And I know that girl has pictures, right, where she is fully dressed, but they would never use any of those pictures where she's fully dressed. So already the system is even against the victim. The system is even against, the system is portraying the victim as the bad person,
right?
Already, by using such pictures,
right?
And at the end of the day, the case again was struck off. So what are we saying now? What are we saying? Okay. So we better wise up then. You can't behave like the Romans when you're in some bush. You can't.
Yeah. I see. So putting it in perspective, it's just, the thing is for people to listen and hear where you're coming from. You're not saying it's okay. You're not saying the girl is at fault. You're saying that in a lawless society where you're not supported, even in places where there's law, people still find it difficult coming out, but then they still prosecute people. But in a place where you're fighting, you got to pick your battles. So you're saying, this is one battle you don't want to fight. I get that. I see where you're coming from now, because when I first heard it, and I wasn't sure, because again, I caught the part. I'm like, I'm gonna have her on, because being a woman, I know there's people have a way of taking things out of context. You see, that's the thing.
But people should listen. People should listen. I mean, that we that stay here, I don't know, and studied here, there's a way we reason, there's a way we listen, there's a way we listen to certain things, right? And if you studied here, sometimes the simple questions are constructed in a very complicated way that you'll be asking yourself, please, what's the question in this question now? Because I don't understand. You have to go to a different tutorial to break down questions because so I now have to, I don't know how to break down certain information for someone in kindergarten, because I have children, and fortunately my children are also being brought up with that same line of, kind of questioning. So when I say certain things, they understand. But I think for the typical Nigerian or the typical African, you have to say 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 2 is 4.
Well, yeah, you have to communicate, like you said, when you're in Rome, you behave like the Romans. So when you're speaking to Nigerians, you got to have a way to be able to reach them and get the message across. I totally
Because once you say 1 + 3 is 4, they're like, hey, who told you that 1 + 3 is 4? Look at you. It is 2 + 2.
That's a good analogy right there. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad again you spoke to it. That was important. Something else I'm going to quickly ask you before we sign off is, people looking at you, what is your advice for the younger actor, people that want to act, want to come into acting? What is your advice for them?
My first advice is, please, if you want to come into acting, it is not a shortcut to making tons of money. In fact, actors do not earn that much in Nigeria, in Africa. In fact, let me tell you the bitter truth. You cannot live a comfortable lifestyle based on your income from acting. They are not please understand this. So if you're going into acting, right, please go in because you have a passion for acting. You love acting. You're ready to work, right, as an actor, to represent yourself and carry yourself in it, because you're whether you like it or not, once you're in the public domain, you're a role model. There are people that will look at you and want to be like you. Are you ready to make that sacrifices to live your life to be a good person? Are you ready? Unfortunately, negatives are ruling right now. When you're a bad person, that's where you get all the attention and everything. But one thing is, if you live your life in that kind of zone of, I don't care, life will leave the person when you need that life. Yes. So what I'm saying is, how arrogant and extravagant and whatever you feel you can live your afternoon and your morning, in the evening it will tell. So please, if you know you are not ready to work, see, acting is not child's play, right? That is why certain people, after playing a certain role, they cannot come out of that role and they even commit suicide. They die. Yes, a lot of them, because we've not gotten there yet. We've not gotten into where you're supposed to play. Again, Nigeria, everybody is mad, right? And I still try to introduce people that it is not madness. There is madness. Then there's bipolar, then there's multiple personalities, then there's schizophrenia. But all of them in Nigeria is mad. So when you're asked to play a mad person, you're not even, categorizing which type of mad person. Now, getting into certain characters is not child's play. We haven't gotten to that yet. Yes. If you like playing the victim of a manipulative, abusive relationship, we've not gotten into that yet. Because you find out that if you have to play the role of a victim of domestic violence, you have to be a very pretentious person, because that is rule number 1 in domestic violence, putting up a face.
Yep. That is so true.
You've been beaten up, blue, black. The next minute you're wearing your sunglasses and you're outside
acting. The acting. The acting.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, are you ready to put yourself deep into a character? Take that character like yourself. Memorize the words and live through it, because you're putting life to words. And on set, outside set, are you ready to live a decent life and be a decent person? Because things are going to change. Things are not going to continue being silly like this for a long time. You know why I say this? We are now in a world where we are all being controlled, whether we like it or not. I went to the restaurant the other day with my kids, and I had to put in my address, email, phone number, everything, just because I wanted to have a bloody meal. Yes. But what they said is, it is for COVID tracing. In case they find out in 10 weeks' time that the day I went there was. But my dear sister, my details are there. I'm sure if you check your phone, right, you will see COVID, whatever, already installed in your phone.
Yes.
Now, what am I saying is that there will come a time when a certain person can take over and certain behaviors will not be tolerated and they would be easily slashed and they can easily find the person.
Wow.
So being modest and being decent and having value and self-worth goes a long way, because being in mental health, the truth is, you see all these people that say, I don't care, they care, and it affects their mental health. Yes, because all this bashing, all the highs and the lows, the same people that, hey, babe, you're slaying. Oh, my God, the ass is fantastic. And the same people that will say, look at that one. I beg, get out. Human beings are talking. This one is talking. Right? And stuff like that. So, are you ready to try and be a decent person? All you see that is glittering, it's not gold, though. Are you able to do what these people do, both diabolically, losing their sense of self-worth just because you want to act rich and show off rich? Are you ready for that? Acting, money no dey oh. The people that even make money are the producers, because, excuse me, if I'm investing, let's say, £50,000 into a movie, before you will reap from that movie, I need to make my £50,000 first. And then I need to make some profits. So that's why the royalty thing, is not working in Nigeria, and it can't work. It can't.
Why? Because of transparency?
Of course, which transparency now? How? Where?
Yeah, that's something I've always wondered about, the, royalties, but,
But I need to make my money. Let's that's okay. My ideologies have changed now, right? So now, if I want to do something and I don't have the money, I can say, okay, amazing, I don't have the money, but I'm going into contract with one of these, Amazon, for instance. Now, with Amazon, even you can check and know how the movie is doing, because Amazon, they will post it there, right? So that's easy. But then if I'm marketing my movie to some marketer in Nigeria, it's just between me and the marketer now. You're never going to know. You won't have access to it. But the truth of the matter that people always make a mistake is that acting does not give you a comfortable lifestyle, but the proceeds of your personality as the actor is what will give you a good lifestyle. I.e., you could have decent fans that love you for real. And a fan can say, oh, what do you do apart from acting? And you say, I'm a structural engineer, by training. Oh, you know what? I have a construction company. Would you like to work with me? And then you draw up an agreement or something like that. But then again, a lot of our people, they don't do that. They don't have their main profession. Everybody just jumps in. A lot of them are not even educated. It is good to have education or a skill that is going to put food on your table. Acting, modeling abroad. Again, I say it. In Africa, no. Okay. In the West, yes. Why? Because you have an agent in the West. Your agent needs to get paid. So he's going to scout, search, source for jobs for you. Right? Unlike in Africa where you're doing everything yourself.
So
and then when you want to show off that I'm a big star, oh, talk to my PA and all that. All that one is sorry.
Okay. So Victoria, now, in essence, what are you saying? Because I asked you, what are you telling the younger ones coming up? Are you saying they shouldn't act? Because we still want.
No, I'm saying they should act, but please have a skill.
Have a skill.
Go to school.
Okay.
Learn a skill, learn a profession, learn a career.
Okay.
And then acting should be a side hustle.
Oh,
especially if you're in Africa.
okay.
Because if you get a movie that they pay you, I don't know who's the highest paid, 1 million in Nigeria. That's probably for the whole year, right? Because I don't even know producers that pay 1 million. In Nigeria, maybe maybe one self. And that's Mo Abudu, because I've heard that she pays very well in her movies. Yes. But Mo does not do 12 movies in a, let's say, yes, one major movie in a month. No. She does 2 major movies in a year.
You are very passionate. You're very passionate about your topics. You like to make your point.
I want to stress it. I want to give you examples.
You want them to hear.
Yes. Don't go into acting because you are seeing this person is Netflix paid this one 200 million. You are on a long thing. You are on a long thing. Please go into acting because I'm passionate. When we started acting, how much now? When I was in Ripples, I was getting 100 naira now.
But that was
even that 100 naira was a lot, so because I didn't plan. We all went into acting not for the fame, because where was fame? We didn't know, there was no social media. The best we had was magazines and newspaper. And some journalists. If a journalist like you, they will write good things about you. If they don't like you, they will tarnish your image. End of. So
the point you've made a point there. That was before social media. Now social media has brought a new dynamic. It's so different now. It's such a, you know what? I could go on talking and talking. You have so much to say, and you like to get your points across. I appreciate that. I do, because you're very convinced and you want to get your point across. But we have got to go. I am gonna have this lady back because I love your passion. I love you very, passionate about, your convictions, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Again, I've been talking to Victoria Iyama, beautiful, talented, and passionate. We all seen that. It's been lovely having you. I'm going to have you back again. Remember, I was telling you about that panel. I would love to have you come in and join this panel. So again, you've been watching AMZ TV and listening to AMZ Live podcast. So until I come your way again, please subscribe. You see, I bring you the best guests. It's never a dull moment, okay? Victoria, thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you very much.
Today. Please be safe, okay? My love to your kids, and
thank you.
All right. Mwah.
Thank you very much. Mwah. Bye.